from out of state or not. You know what I'm saying? If he's a part of that group, then he's a part of that group. And you can join at 17.
No, I'm just saying he got a Friday in, but he still crossed state lines with a gun. He still was too young to own a rifle in the state.
All right, everybody, welcome. We are back. It's the brothers, the distinguished gentlemen brothers. If you're joining us on Facebook and YouTube, thank you. We're going live. I start up the Blog Talk Radio today. We're just going live on Facebook and YouTube. My name is RJ Mack. I'm here with my brother Angel from Texas, my brother Courtney from Texas, and Oscar Mike showing that old ring that's been done with for years. I think his
I'm a Ravens fan though. I am a Ravens fan. I ain't going for it.
I think his computer got stuck on him. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us today, man. We're gonna talk about a few different things. There's a lot of different going on lately. Today, one of the most recent stories today was the Milwaukee Bucks first started it. They didn't want to come out on the court, and then Orlando Magic joined them, and then the Lakers joined them, and then I think it was OKC that joined them next, and so that led the NBA to postponing the rest of the games for today while they do a boycott for the shooting. Let's go here. I'm just going to share this article real quick, and then we'll talk about that. Hold on. What y'all been up to lately, though, when we've been on this break? What's been up with you, Angel?
Man, homeschooling. This time around, boy, it's rough. It's rough this time around with these kids. I start my new class. It's one of my business research methods classes or something like that for my master's. I'll start that one. Not looking forward to that. And, just like preparing for my move, man. You know.
Yeah. I gotta start looking at that shit too, man. I gotta start looking for places. I think I'm gonna rent for a year, and then I think I'm gonna try to buy like a duplex or apartment down there.
Wherever you going to?
Dallas.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I'm actually going to, like, my daughter will have my house until she decides if she's gonna come up with me or go somewhere else. But then after that, I'm doing an Airbnb in my crib.
Shit, go ahead.
What's up, Oscar? What you been up to, bro?
Man, maintaining, looking for more real estate, going out into the community, trying to see where I could help, strengthen, people who look like us, who talk like us, and who walk like us. And so, last weekend I took my son around. We were looking for 4 units. We weren't successful. We looked at a bunch of them, but the market is hot right now. So I urge everyone out there who's serious about real estate to put yourself in a position that, hopefully, well, not necessarily hopefully, but if next year we start to see a lot of foreclosures in the market, you're in a position to win. You're in a position to move when an opportunity may arise. And I love that duplex talk. I mean, because you can get a duplex with your VA, you can get a duplex with FHA, residential, you can get a duplex with residential loans. And so, I think that one of the ways that we build wealth, through real estate. Yeah.
Me and my daughter right now, we get an apartment. And they have quite a few here. But there's one that we were looking at until we realized where it was at. It actually looked like an old project house. Remember how the project used to be? Like the L-shaped long building? Yeah. It's right good, but it's like privately owned now. So at first I was like, oh, that's not bad. And I went out there and I'm like, oh no, this is bad. Like, no. On the east side, I was like, oh hell no.
Yeah. I was in Newport News. I was in like Newport News and Hampton, like with like Allen Iverson and Michael Vick from, man. It's straight country hood out there, man. It's like hood, babies running around with no shirts and just a diaper on, throwing up gang signs hood out there. You know what I'm saying? but we're gonna make it work though. We're gonna make it work.
With that duplex thing, Courtney, you could choose your neighbor. That's cool.
Yeah.
Word up.
That's the one thing. I've been listening to y'all, man. So I'm trying to get these businesses started, build that business credit, and then just let it go from there, man.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, I put this week my business credit, the recent business credit that I got, I put it in the chat, didn't I? I thought I put it in the chat, showed y'all my recent business credit that I got.
I saw one you posted a couple of weeks ago. Or it might have been last week. I think I was in Colorado when you posted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that. That's cool, man. That's real cool. Man. I'm glad you brothers have been working, man. I've been trying to get these businesses off the foot too. Whew.
I see you out there, Humpy.
Man, he's out, man. He out there doing what we used to call trapping out the bando. You know?
Yeah. It's too hot to do that
shit. What y'all? Well, y'all is there a hurricane coming y'all way?
Yeah, and it'll hit like Houston and those areas and like that, like East Texas. So they're preparing for that right now.
We might get. I think they said, "Shit, I don't even think we're gonna get no rain, bro." I don't even know,
but maybe it'll curve off. I don't know.
Official.
We normally get some wind and rain.
This is some official unboxing from RJ's. I got this shea butter get my skin right. You know what I mean? I got the oil.
I was shocked that shipping was like shit. I think I ordered that shit on like a Thursday. I had it like Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm going on a show later on today to talk about what I do. I do affiliate marketing most of the time, and what that is, that's pretty much like drop shipping. But I go through is drop shipping through like different vendors. And so the guy that I go through, I went to, he was like, man, the post office is right here. The post office is right here. I was like, cool. Because the post office is like 20 minutes for me. It takes me too long to get there. So, hey, them fragrances are the bomb, bro. I got me a couple too, man. I got that Polo Red. Man, you put that Polo Red on?
Man. I got 3 of these joints. That's what I
said. Oh, man. That's about the life.
Hey, that Creed, that bottle of Creed, a whole bottle of Creed is like $300.
Yep.
Hey, Margaret. What's up, Dave? Cecilia, Kristen, Tamika, Sonny. Damn.
I don't see them on the
broadcast. Get to the top.
All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to bring this screen up right now, and we'll just, yap a little bit. We're going to talk about the is it sharing? There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. So this is the NBC article. NBA about what the heck just happened? The NBA boycott for the Jacob Blake shooting. It keeps blacking out on me. The NBA has announced that all 3 playoff games Wednesday will be postponed and rescheduled. The decision comes after the Milwaukee Bucks player did not take the court for Game 5 of their first round series against the Orlando Magic, which was supposed to tip off at 4 p.m. Eastern. The protest comes in response to the shooting of an unarmed black man named Jacob Blake in Kennesaw, Wisconsin on Monday. Shortly after the Bucks made the statement by not playing, the Rockets and the Thunders decided also not to play today, as well as the Lakers and the Trailblazers. Bucks owners released the following joint statement: "We fully support players and the decisions they made. Although we did not know beforehand, we would have wholeheartedly agreed with them. The only way to bring about change to shine a light on racial injustices that are happening in front of us. Our players have done that, and we will continue to stand alongside them and demand accountability and change." All right, fellas, what y'all thoughts on this? You think the players are doing something brave? You like the way the NBA is supporting them?
I think that in this situation, I'm not surprised, because after the Floyd incident and the way the NBA was, I think now the players feel as though they're in an environment that's conducive to them saying that we don't want to play. You know what I'm saying? So you know that it's going to be some, like the NBA, I guess, knows it's going to be like some heat if they don't do anything or do anything, just like they did with the George Floyd situation. So I guess that made the players feel more comfortable about actually doing this.
What you think, Courtney?
I'm not surprised. I saw it coming even before the bubble started, but I don't know what kind of outcome is going to come from. I don't know what's going to come from it, because honestly, the people that you're trying to open the eyes to just don't want to see it. You not playing a game is not going to matter to them. So, I mean, maybe it'll hit the corporate sponsors a little bit harder.
But most of them are already turning over though.
I mean, I don't really know. Like when they said it, I didn't really know what direction it was going with. Like, I don't think it's gonna make anybody say, "Oh, let me go check this out." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we're at that point to where it's either you already made up your mind on how you feel about these situations or not.
Right?
A lot of people don't give a fuck. I posted the white dude today that got shot in Arizona. The cops knocked on his door because the neighbor lied, said he was beating his girlfriend. They were there playing video games.
So the guy,
yeah, cop shot his ass.
They shot him in the back too, right?
Yeah, he was putting the gun down because he didn't know who was at the door. They came beating on the door, and they shot him in the back. Nobody cares. White people tell you all the time, more of us get shot by the police than anybody. Y'all motherfuckers ain't bad.
But the problem is more of them are doing shit.
Right, right.
You see videos of white people beating up cops and stealing their cop car and driving off with it.
Bro, I saw one the other day of a dude chasing a woman around the cop car.
Think about that.
They don't count that fact in. What you think about this NBA protest, Oscar? Can you hear me?
I mean, if I had to be honest, I like it, right? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it brings awareness to something that it needs to be brought to. I think that corporate America. Okay, let me get up and move around. Is that better?
Yeah.
Take it with me. All right. Is that better?
Much better.
Yeah.
Much better? All right. Yeah. So I think it brings awareness to the situation, and that's what we really want, right? I think it invokes conversation. I think it invokes conversation across all the media platforms, and it's going to just get people talking, and it's going to get eventually, hopefully, like I said, it brings awareness and it gets the right people talking, and hopefully there's a little bit of change, and hopefully it's just not like the flavor of the month thing, that we can keep this going, that we, no longer will accept this type of behavior, in this country against, people of color. I think it's time for us to unite, and I think it's time for our athletes and our entertainers to say that, although this doesn't necessarily affect us, but it kind of does affect us. I mean, look at the president of the Raptors who was assaulted by a police officer at the end of the game when they won the championship. He's coming out to celebrate, and he's shoved and assaulted for no reason. I mean, how much should we have to take, or how much has to happen? And he got lied on until we got to body him. So, so I think, yeah. So I think it's just time for us to bring the awareness, and I think this is just a part of that and the line. And I like what LeBron is doing with the voter initiative, because I think that one of the ways that we can evoke some change is to make sure that we vote as well.
Yeah, exactly. They kind of pushing me now, because I was kind of had on the crosshairs between this Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but with that with the RNC, what is the Republican National Convention, and just the gathering of what they did, it was a show. Did y'all catch that at all?
Yeah, I think they kind of fumbled the ball on that one. Instead of actually having people on there speaking about how policy changes had positively affected their lives and all that type of stuff, which probably had spoke more to the people. They just went ahead and had all these figures, just continue to regurgitate these talking points. And they really weren't focusing on what he had done to better the country and move us forward. All they really did was attack Democrats. I'm saying, during the entire thing, and that's all it was. I mean, it could have been a good opportunity for him to point out certain things that he might have done well, and that didn't happen. But then again, it doesn't really matter with them. This is regardless of what he does, what he says, or how the convention goes. Their minds are made up anyway. So,
did you catch any of that convention, Courtney?
No, I wasn't paying attention to that shit.
Bro, it was a tap dance show for real.
I only part I saw was it might have been the first day where the woman got up there and she just started screaming.
The first generation Puerto Rican.
Yeah. I was like that was scary. I don't know what they was doing with that, but other than that, I didn't really pay too much attention to that, man.
I stopped listening to her when she said she was first generation and her parents were immigrants from Puerto Rico, and I was just like, I don't need to listen.
I saw that one lady. She kept saying she was saying that America, U.S. is not a racist country, and I'm like, where you been at, lady? Like you said, they just went up there and they just made things worse. Like they really pushed me over because I was like, okay, but they really, it was like Tori Ross say. I didn't want to say it, but she said it the best. The coonery, and that was amazing. Like you've never seen them gather so many black ones together. They even had the AG from Kentucky, the one who was refusing to prosecute Breonna Taylor's killers. They had him up there, and that boy was tap dancing like crazy. I'm like, okay, that's the only reason he's the AG of Kentucky. He ain't been no AG of Kentucky if he ain't no tap dancer. And they didn't invent. The funny part to me was how they showed how quickly they can toss one to the side because their biggest mouthpiece over the last few years, they didn't even invite her. And that's that one name, Candace Owens. And she didn't really get mad. She just had some things. She responded on Twitter.
It was actually smart.
I'm gonna share my screen on what she
for them not to have her. That's the one thing they did right.
Yeah, that was she's inflammatory.
Right. And they're gonna separate themselves because like people get the black vote. Black people, the majority of black folk, don't get down with her. You know what I'm saying?
She's good for ratings, but she ain't good for bringing nobody over.
He speaks to his white base.
I know. Yeah.
So he didn't want.
Look, she said all she had to say was, "I would have crushed Obama's DNC appearance." So the college dropout would have crushed the Harvard graduate. Yeah. Okay, Candace. Something wrong with her, bro. I think something wrong with her. Yeah. So why? She had people asking why wasn't she invited? Okay. Would you vote for Candace Owens if she ran for office? I think not. Even the white people that be on her feeds.
Now don't get me wrong. Some of the stuff that I heard her say on a few shows makes total sense. But the way that she articulates it, the way that she puts it out to the other side is foul as fuck.
And then also she lies. I mean, she thinks that just aren't true. So it makes you not even want to listen to anything that might be even remotely valid. And I actually feel sorry for black conservatives that are pro-black and they get a bad rep because of people like her. Just because you're a black conservative doesn't mean that you are looking for a pat on the back from white people. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of black conservatives are extremely pro-black, but they get being a black conservative and being a Republican mixed up.
I mean, you gotta think black people are conservative any fucking way. Like we're raised conservative as fuck. You know,
especially
you have to play toward white people to be accepted, and you're already in a group that you're basically born into, you know, conservatism and everything like that. So, you know, it's interesting to see. I'm in a black conservative group, and it's interesting to see that back and forth between the two types of black conservative, you know. So
we're gonna go to the Facebook comments. We got a Christopher McMullen Sr., he says exactly as the guy just said, she articulates her words in a way that is harmful to the Black cause. What she lost me at too was when she started talking about like, oh, Black people were in a good space after slavery, but then she jumps all the way to like when the social services changed in the 60s. And it's like, did you forget about Jim Crow?
Yeah, all right, that's
like you just skipped right over Jim Crow in the Black code and went all the way through something. That's where you're losing people.
She just threw that statement out there. She didn't explain what she meant by a good space after slavery. She just said, "Oh, we was doing good."
Mm-hmm.
And then we started doing, and then we were doing bad.
Because I don't think she knows her history like that. Because
we were doing so good that some of them didn't even free.
Killer Mike was giving her the lesson on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What she forgot about was they were doing pretty well because the North was in the South, making them, keeping them in line, and also she forgot that the Freedmen's Bank is really what started the downfall of the free slaves even more when they took all of their money and they lost all their land. Then the North left when Andrew Jackson took over, and that's when the Black codes came about. That's when everything started coming about that took us right back down. So yeah, she really needs some help, but she does a good job for whoever she works for, whoever pays her.
Mm-hmm.
The Hodge twins are even worse. Boy, I stopped following the Hodge twins. Bro. They irritate the fuck out of me.
But they used to be do comedy, and they went completely left, or actually right, and now that's all they do is talk about political stuff.
Yeah, they used to be gym guys, right? They used to do like work videos and stuff.
Gym guys. They were bodybuilders. They were bodybuilders at first. At first.
I used to watch videos back in El Paso. And then they started doing.
Yeah, they were even kind of.
It was the Hodge twins and it was Chris Jones.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were even corny. They stopped. I barely watched their videos then.
They posted a video like
corny
2
dude.
Man, I looked at that shit and I was like, unfollow.
Yeah.
They're not funny at all.
Shit just irritated the fuck
They're
out
pretty
of me.
pitiful.
Though I think
y'all hear Diamond and
certain Black people too, because they're getting paid to do it. You know what I'm saying? They're definitely getting some money out of it. And I think it's a new trend for certain Blacks to do that type of stuff. Like,
Their YouTube videos get millions of views.
Like, what's the other two that were doing it? Silk and Diamond. Boy, they eat that stuff up.
Lukey and Dookie.
Yeah.
Lukey and Dookie got fired, and now they trying to claim racism. Now they trying to say they got fired because they Black. Yeah, that's their new. I don't call them whatever they go by. I call them Lukey and Dookie. That's what they look like, two little rat dogs.
What did Herschel Walker say?
Oh man, don't even get.
He said that he feels personally attacked when people call Donald Trump racist because he wouldn't be friends with a racist for 37 years.
Oh God!
I'm just wondering which personality was talking, because Herschel suffers from personality disorders, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's some years ago.
He got like 15. He said he don't remember getting the Heisman Trophy.
Oh, so your shit.
He said he don't remember starting his chicken business.
Damn. So that must have been his white person.
Yeah, I think it's the whole screen now. Yeah, that's his white person personality. I don't know who that was.
You're a white man that lives in here.
That's why I told people don't pay no attention to Herschel Walker. Herschel crazy.
His son was saying the same.
We got another. I do got another. You kind of got stuck. What'd you say, Angel?
I said his son was saying the same thing. He was echoing what his daddy was saying.
Yeah, and his mom is white too. So, man, he gets a little different things. She said, Candace said, he has 3 officially diagnosed too. Yeah, I know. They did that 30 for 30 on him. Dude, legit crazy. And he was saying he was thinking about quitting Georgia his junior year and joining the Marines so he can go hurt people.
Oh hell no!
Sounds about right.
Dude.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, dude.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, crazy. Dude, crazy.
Most of y'all Marines crazy.
He ain't up there all the way. I read something interesting. Yeah, most of us are. I didn't join to hurt nobody. Jesus. Yeah.
What?
If I would have had a scholarship to go to Georgia and I was naturally 6'5", 200-something pounds running people over, you think I would have thought about the Marine Corps? No,
bro.
That wouldn't even been on my mind. I would have laughed at the recruiter every time I seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Army didn't even train you to kill nobody. You rolled around a couple of weeks in basic training, then you shot a weapon and walked off. I don't know why people get that conception about the military.
This article that I saw today, it was pretty interesting because this Jacob Blake, so this is what she had to say. This is from CNN, and so it says, I don't know, man, something's really going on with my computer. Jacob Blake's mom says that he'll be upset over the unrest that is going on right now in the city, which is kind of awkward to me, how people seem to want to predict what their dead relatives, how they will feel. But that's his mom, so I guess we got to listen to her. She said hours after Jacob was shot, he looked at his mother in Milwaukee hospital room, cried, and told her he was sorry. I don't want to be a burden on anybody. I want my babies or my boss, she recalls her son telling her. She comforted him and had to redirect the conversation. So she's saying his kids are his world, but not only that, his family is his world. He's upset because we're hurt. We're upset. He doesn't care about himself. He's more so worried about us. So for anybody who don't know, Jacob ain't dead. Jacob is actually still alive, but they say he's going to be paralyzed from the waist down. It's kind of crazy if you watched it. I don't really like showing those videos anymore because I think it may add to like some conditioning, like add to the fear, add to the anger. Yeah, I watched today. Today was the first time I actually watched it. And it was kind of insane the way that cop just kind of grabbed him, just checked around the car and just shot him. Like, where's your taser or something at? Why you didn't try anything else? Your gun is the first thing you pull out?
You know, but still, I don't think that warrants the way he was shot. You know, because at the time, everything seemed he was walking calmly. They were walking calmly. And he pulled on his shirt and then shot him 7 times in the back. But I'm not saying the brother was smart for what he did. I think that was not a wise course of action, trying to go into your car or anything, because that gives him a reason. It gives him justification in a way to do that. At least they're going to try to use that as a justification, rather. But you know, it's a sad situation. It's when it comes to us, when it comes to Black people, that's always the jump to is to kill. You know, unfortunately, and then the justification comes, and that's when they start going to records and all that type of stuff. If this is the type of person he was, so he deserved to die. Not at that moment. You know, at that moment, he wasn't doing anything that I saw. You know,
is those stuff even real?
I don't even know. I haven't even seen anything that verified any of that stuff, because there was one thing where it was another gentleman that had the exact same name as him, right? And his record was the one being posted, but they were saying that it was the guy that was shot.
Yeah,
but it was. So to this day, you know, I haven't seen anything that truly verified whether he would. You know,
it's crazy. Every time they go straight to the person who was shot record.
Right.
They find some on that motherfucker that shot. And they don't even do a research on the cop.
An offense that warrants to be killed. You know, it wasn't smart what he did, but definitely it didn't deserve to be shot, especially that way.
Yeah. Sometimes I do. You wonder what some of these brothers know.
I think these situations, just like you guys kind of said, it's kind of normalized. Like these situations have become like so common that it's just like, oh, another one. For me, it's just like, when does it end, right? When do we create some type of reform? When do we educate more? When do we just start opening up new conversations, right? When do we provide better training for our police officers, or have more programs? Like me growing up, the DARE program, and I grew up in impoverished neighborhoods, but we had the DARE program. Although there was some guys who come through this up, we also had out there used to come coach football, teach karate, all types of stuff at my rec centers as well. Why don't we put some of that money into the communities and create better relationship in the community police officers, so that there's less fear on both sides? It's just, I'm tired of seeing people die. I'm tired of seeing what comes of it. You know what I mean? I'm from Baltimore, just like what happened with the Freddie Gray thing. It's starting to be normalized, and like I said before about the NBA, we got to bring more awareness. And like even this platform right now, we're discussing it, and people who are watching us is bringing more awareness. More people, hopefully, it'll open more conversations. We all need to vote, and we need to vote for those politicians that are who want the same thing. Putting more programs into these communities, man, and hopefully we can stop some of these type of situations from happening.
Oscar Mike brings up a good point. The thing is, when I moved from New York, I moved to Baltimore, Park Heights and Belvedere, the Pimlico area.
Hey, Park Heights and Belvedere. I went to Northwestern, baby. I went to Northwestern.
I went to Mount St. Joe for about 3 years.
Yeah.
To Morgan for my first year of college.
Oh, you got money?
No. My mom had connections.
Yeah. That's a private school. Mount St. Joe, private school, baby.
Yeah, it's a private school. My mom had connections. He got me out of the gang banging thing.
Yeah, I feel you.
But either way, the thing is, I remember those programs being even in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Because where what's that, Northern Parkway and everything is at. The upper side was where the Jewish area was at. And they had programs for the people.
Yeah, by Pimlico.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they used to have the cats from the hood. They could come over there, and the cops would be there teaching just different things, doing sports. It was a whole lot of different programs and stuff like that. All of that stuff is gone. And it really used to help. It
all
really
gone.
All the brothers that did those programs usually went on to do great things later on.
When you was working with sheriff departments, did y'all do a lot of community?
Say one more time.
Did y'all used to do a lot of community work in the Black communities when you were working as a sheriff?
We did. In all honesty, it's one of those things where the problem we're running with now, because we have our Explorers, which is we go out, we have the driver's teen challenge, which you're trying to teach the younger kids that are coming of age as far as getting behind the wheel and stuff like that, the proper way to drive. Defensive driver, you can't be an offensive driver. You've always got to look out for the other person that might have had too much to drink or isn't paying attention on the phone, text and stuff like that. But you have the Explorer program that's going on. But the main thing is that unfortunately, most law enforcement agencies around the country are running into a basically like a finance problem with the ends and stuff. We just don't have the people that we can spare to get out there and get on the road to do that type of stuff. And all, from what I see, we don't have the people in the amount that we need to get out there and do it. We have programs, but trying to get people to volunteer for it and stuff like that. Most of us working 12-hour shifts, and that's if you get off on time and you're lucky. But my average day was around 14 to 18 hours working as a cop. And you got overtime, the whole 9 yards. It's one of those things where, and I know everybody's like, well, they can afford this, that, or the other, like with all the military equipment and stuff like that. Most of that we get on wholesale from the military. And big vehicles and stuff like that. They might have a nice coat of paint on them and look fancy and stuff, but odds are they're probably old, been beat up, been through Iraq and Afghanistan quite a few times and stuff like that. It's just the military's getting rid of. Hell, as a car auction buyer, you can go down there and buy a Humvee for about $5,000 to $8,000. It's easy. A lot of people do that and just junk them, sell them for scrap, because you'll get a lot more money than that for them if you sell them for scrap. But the main thing is that it's just the manning. We don't have the manning, in my opinion, to be out in the neighborhoods like we really need to be out in the neighborhoods, to let people see law enforcement not just coming to do a search warrant, not just coming because so-and-so stabbed so-and-so, or somebody suspected of stealing from here or something like that, or because mom and dad are getting into an argument. And that's in any community. I mean, it's one of those things where the manning is low. It's a thankless job. And unfortunately, a lot of people, for what they pay, a lot of people ain't going to take that risk. They're not willing to step up to the plate, you know?
Yeah. Okay. That's where
that
I think people get the
whole.
It's
a shame because, like you said, like we're putting. Yeah, we're putting money into these, tactical vehicles and, all this other stuff, right? But I just think that we could, alleviate some of these problems, like Angel was saying, if we can get them back into the community. You know what I mean? I just think it would make the world a better place if we're able to, for us to see police in a higher light. Because, like, even me as a 40-year-old grown man, I talked about this weeks ago. There's a police officer behind me not too long ago, and he was driving speedily behind me. And like there was some type of, I had some anxiety and like panic attack. It's like I have like this fear of the police, even if I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't hurt anyone other than what I was told to do for my country. And I still have this fear just because of what's going on right now. Maybe that fear wouldn't be there and people would comply and everything else if they seen the police and a better life. And for me growing up, I had less fear of the police because they were my coaches. They taught me karate. They did the dairy program, the crime dog, taught me how to shoot pool. As I see that nice pool table in the background over there, Mr. Newman. You know what I mean? That's how I saw police officers. But now as an adult, you know what I mean? I get this anxiety attack because of everything that's going on, because that's what we almost like come to expect.
Yeah, well, I mean, in most cases, and we call it community policing. We try and instill that, and especially like the younger people that are coming up in through the ranks and stuff like that. The main thing is, though, is that, some of my best tips have come from people I've established a rapport with and everything, been able to, and a lot of times in point of crisis, you're able to get in there, talk to them one-on-one where they don't see the badge and uniform. They see the person talking to them. So you're able to talk down the situation. I know it's happened, and it's helped out a lot of times, like most of our detectives and stuff like that. Some of their best tips come from people that they've established that rapport with. And I mean, it's easy to flip people if you've established a rapport with them, because you just let them know, look, here's the thing. Technically, it's one of those things where you can help us to help you, so you don't have to see us in around here that often doing negative things. It frees us up more time to do positive things. Go out there and, hang out with the kids on Halloween and stuff, on the ends of neighborhood streets, making sure everybody's getting safe, nobody's driving around trying to snatch kids, stuff like that. It's one of those things. And I hate to say it, but it's a problem not only faced in law enforcement, also in the medical field. You look at what's happened since the insurance companies have run wild and run rampant with it. But like since they've started closing down the state mental institutions, some of them need to be closed down because they were ran poorly and it was bad abuse cases and stuff like that. But nowadays it's catch and release for people with mental illness, especially if it's raised to the point where they can't take care of themselves. They end up being homeless. Now we get calls for people breaking in places, stealing stuff, trespassing, high on drugs, or drunk out, passed out in the lot and stuff like that, and it's catch and release, especially if they're at the point where they say they want to kill themselves or something like that. We take them to hospital. Hospital does their Baker Act, 72 hours at most mandatory hold where they don't have to release them. But the doctors are tired of seeing them. So, these calm down. I'll go ahead and let them back out on the street. They go back out on the street and it's a reset button. It starts all over again,
Yeah. I grew up the same way. I grew up with the DARE program and all of that stuff. I wasn't afraid of the cops growing up. I really wasn't. Like we didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
We didn't really have that fear. Yeah, actually, the DARE program was ran by my stepfather's cousin.
Yeah.
I wasn't really. Most of the cops were black,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I was just going to say it's one of those things, though. A lot of cops are catching all types of hell, especially out on the streets and stuff like that, because of the minority of bad ones. If you look at per day, the millions of interactions with cops, because there are millions per day with all the cops who are out there. It's the bad ones that the news chooses to sensationalize. And I'm not saying it's any particular news channel or anything like that, whether it be right wing, left wing, middle wing, whatever the hell, chicken wing. It's just, that's what gets headlines. That's what gets the people going, riles them up and stuff. Now, the problem I have is the few bad actors out there. And I say few because you consider the number of bad altercations with cops in comparison with the number of daily altercations with cops. You have a few bad actors that are highlighted, and some of them, they honestly do need to go to jail, go to prison, because they're breaking the law. At the point where you betray your oath of office and you're no longer serving and protecting, then you're no longer a cop. You're a thug with a badge, plain and simple. I'll debate anybody on that. But the main thing is this, is that people are starting to group all cops in the same category. That's like me saying all priests are pedophiles or all priests are out there raping kids and stuff. It's a minority of them, because you look at the interaction between the clergy, not just priests, but anybody that with any religion, the interactions per day in one day all around America, and then look at the few bad apples that go out there and fuck it up ruin it for everybody. You see, it's cops catching hell from all angles right now, and I mean, you'll see the effects of it here probably within a few months, if not long-term effects in a few years. Nobody's signing up to be a cop anymore because it's a thankless job, dangerous job, no, I mean, it doesn't pay enough. So, and I'm not dogging it, because my hat's off to the people that are still doing it and the people that are coming into it. But it takes a special person to go out there and write a blank check saying, hey, I'm gonna go out there and try and do the right thing, serve and protect. I might catch a bullet in the back of the head just for wearing the uniform. I'm going to do it. It's like the military. Less than 2% of our nation actually raises their hand and volunteers and say, "Hey, I'm willing to write the blank check to go out there and make it a better place for everybody."
I think the problem, I mean, you're definitely right when you say, it's a few bad apples and the majority of them are quote unquote. But I think the issue is the silence of the good. If you're not combating what's going wrong in your precinct, I have to count you as the enemy. If you're not speaking out, and I know it's going to be a detriment to your career. I understand it's going to be a detriment sometimes depending on where you're at to your life, because some of these precincts and these people in them are vindictive to that level. But at the same time, that's how a lot of our people are seeing it now. Like, if you're not saying something, you're not combating it, then you're part of the problem. If you're part of the problem, that means you're the enemy. I
100% agree with that. I 100% agree with
that. The biggest disconnect right there, and that's going to be the hump that people need to get over. Well, not get over, but that's going to be the thing that the good cops need to start doing, so that we can see that even inside that community, there are people fighting for the people. But until that happens, they're going to be counted as bad cops.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate way it is right now.
Juan, do you think if they raise the pay of cops, that it would invite more people from like our community to join the force?
It probably would, but the other thing along with raising the pay is that also they need to raise the budget. And I know the whole defund the police is a hashtag now and everything, but they honestly need to raise the budget for training. Because plain and simple, I'm not saying that cops aren't trained well and everything like that, but like in the military, like in any profession, if you're not constantly training, you're behind the power curve. Plain and simple. I'm not going to go out there and try and like, say for instance, go skydiving with my great-grandfather's old parachute. I'm going to want the latest and the greatest. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to want the latest that they've discovered in the train. I mean, just anything. If you're not training, you're falling behind. The problem I saw firsthand is the simple fact that a lot of training classes and stuff like that, they only have a certain amount of slots that they're able to pay for to get people into. And you've got like my agency, you got over 200 people as deputies. If you've got 4 slots for this month for this training, how is that effective? I mean, they can fight more, but
sorry.
Say again.
It was situations where they could only send 2 or 3 NCOs to a school, but then they got certified and they could go back to their units and teach, the majority. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if they're able to do that with some of the things, then cool. But to the point about raising the pay, you got to be careful with that too, because then you'll get people signing up that are motivated by money and not by wanting to do the right thing. So you'll still get a bunch of bad apples and everything like that. So they're like, oh shit, I'm about to get paid. You know, I don't give a damn about the law or these feelings and anything like that. That paycheck was drawing me in. So, I mean, so there's a good and a bad to all these things.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a double-edged sword. Believe me, it's checks and balances, because it definitely is a double-edged sword. As far as in like the with the training and certification, a lot of our agencies around here, at least, have started doing that. Well, not started; they've been doing it for a while now. Instead of sending so many people to the class for training, we'll send people to the trainer's class for that class. They can come back and teach the agency. We'll say, hey, this day, this shift goes to this training, or hey, this day, this shift goes to this training. One of our, I'm good friends with one of the trainers right now. He's in charge of mostly training and stuff. He's certified on taser training, arms training, the whole 9 yards. And whenever there's something new that comes out, and he's always got his ear to the street, he goes, he checks it out, he vets it, verifies it. And if it's legitimate, then he'll go to it, or he'll send somebody that is on the trainer level, that has trainer certification, to the class. They get the ins and outs of how to train people properly in the class. They come back and they spread it throughout the agency. That's, I mean, honestly, that's the way it's having to go.
More money into the PDs if they use that money for things like you're talking. If they use that money for training, if they use that money for psychiatric checks and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? I think
mental health training, how to deal with mental health situations,
a little bit more stringent.
I'm more with the whole defund the police part of kind of taking the police out of that realm and giving that money to the social services so that they can be more involved with the whole mental health section, because they're the ones who are more trained at that. They're the ones that actually go to college for it, right? So I can understand. Give them more manpower and you give them more money to get more involved in that, and maybe have the cops there just as a backup, just in case things kind of go wrong. But they shouldn't be the main point of contact when it comes down to addressing mental health. Because when we were talking about the white people were saying more white people being killed, it's usually a person with some mental health issues that the cops end up killing that is white.
Yeah.
Well, they already did that in one city.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying they already did that in one city. It was a couple of years ago. I was reading an article on it a few weeks ago, where they took the police out of those situations and they switched over to healthcare workers.
Yeah.
Well,
social services is highly underfunded and undermanned. Very underfunded and undermanned. And those are the people that are really supposed to be in the community, checking on the welfare of people, checking on the welfare of kids and stuff like that. But they don't have that much manpower. I mean, most people that I know that are social workers burn out within 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. That is true. But the thing that you got to look at also is that, like, as far as the mental health, one of the jokes that we've got running is it's all fun and games until a mental health worker gets called out to the middle of the highway where somebody is naked, covered in feces, and eating it and sitting there karate chopping cars and stuff like that. That's the funny joke about how serious a mental health situation can be. The flip side, the serious side is a lot of these times when it gets bad enough and people are having that big of a mental health crisis, they're beyond the point of talking to a therapist. The therapist is good for a controlled environment. If you're going to have a therapist there, you need to have somebody there to protect the therapist as well. Because, I mean, it's just a lot of times domestic dispute. How many times cops showing up to a domestic dispute and right as they're getting out of the car, they get smoked, or they end up getting shot in the head coming in the house, or when they're trying to separate the two parties, like, hey, let me talk to them, and all hell breaks loose. One of the first, well, not one of, the very first time I ever had to go hands-on with somebody and sprain my wrist doing it was a domestic disturbance, where I went to arrest the man that had just beat the living crap out of his wife, and next thing you know, she jumps on my back, and I ain't trying to be funny, but all 300 pounds of her jumps on my back while I'm trying to put him in handcuffs. Now I'm trying to fight him. I got a backpack sitting there swinging and hollering at me and everything like that. And it's just, I mean, I can laugh about it now, but when it happened, oh shit, this is what they were talking about in training. This is really what's happening. You know?
We got a Facebook comment I want you to respond to, Ron. Ryan Thurman says police use a one-size-fit-all approach to every call that they go on. How you feel about that?
there. Because if we use the one size approach to everything, everybody be in jail. We use the one size approach to everything, then everybody have the same sentence. You see, it all depends on the situation. That's like saying that, let's say a plumber uses a one size approach to every job call that he goes on to. A paramedics use a one size approach. It's false, because if paramedics use a one size approach and all you've got is like maybe a sprained wrist or something, you want to really sticking you with a needle and running IVs and hitting you up with all these drugs and stuff like that. You have to, it all depends on the agency, the training of the agency, the person that takes the call, the officer, the deputy that takes the call, or the law enforcement agent that takes the call, and it all depends on the situation, the environment that it's in. It's not a one size approach. If you or anybody's using a one sided approach, then plain and simple, you're wrong.
I can agree with Juan on that because I've been arrested a few times, and the last time I got arrested, 18 cops showed up, and I sat outside and smoked a cigarette with them and just talked. You know what I mean? And then as I was going down the police station, the motherfuckers was just chatting and telling me you'll be all right, you do this, and then they threw me in the cell. It was cool.
That was funny, Courtney. I don't want to share my stories.
It can go a long way. It can go a long way because I mean it's one of those things where unless it's like a seriously out of control situation, you're an adult. I'm an adult. Let's talk like adults. Ain't got to go to name calling. Ain't got to go to no F you, F this, F that, or anything like that. A lot of times people are heated. Hey, that's cool. That's cool. I understand that. But what can we do to talk about it so we all walk out of here and everybody's at least feeling that their side was heard and there's a compromise that's come to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for showing that ring. That brings me to a point that all things come to an end. Yeah, we're about to end the show up. I'm glad we did this show live. I'm glad to see you, brothers, man. Thank you all for coming on today. I really want to do that young entrepreneur show. I want to bring on some young people that are doing some business, that got their own business ventures going. Oscar, your kids, man, they're helping. They're your partners, right? Right? Can you hear me?
I think he's frozen.
Yeah, sir.
He showed that ring.
Take them out good with me. We out there running for dollars.
Yeah, man, we need to have them on, man, so they can talk about what they're learning. Courtney's son, he's doing his thing.
I'm here, baby.
He has a little business going on. I don't know what's going on. Angel, do your daughters have something going on?
Mm-hmm. My oldest daughter is my business partner.
Cool, man. We need to arrange some stuff, man. Have them come on so they can just talk about their experiences as young people. Because I think I wish I would have got started with all this. But if I would have got started with all this when I was young, boy, I would be. I probably wouldn't even know y'all now.
Oh, you too good for us now?
You cannot speak to me, peasants. I know one you were talking about doing some things too with your kids, right? The soap business, right?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Y'all get that started?
Oh yeah. Oh, we're working on it right now. She's already gotten the licensing paperwork and stuff like that. The main thing is especially when it comes to kids, you got to be your kids' biggest cheerleaders. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they come to you like, I can't do this or I just can't get it and everything. I always ask my kids, especially with schoolwork and stuff like that, what's your name? They give me their name. I said, all right, so let me ask you something. Who's got the authority to tell you can't do anything? They're like, you and God. I'm telling you can do it. God's telling you can do it. So who's telling you can't do it? You know what I'm saying? If you set your mind to it, you say everything ain't gonna be just automatically jumping into a high goal. But the biggest journey begins with the first step. If you set achievable daily goals or achievable in step goals, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. Don't accept no from someone that's not qualified to give you one. You know?
Exactly.
It's like I don't ask a homeless person before I buy a house. Hell, they ain't qualified to tell me no.
Exactly. All right, we're doing this show bi-weekly, so we'll have some time to gather some stuff together. But pretty much, I think the next episode we'll probably do a young entrepreneur thing, so we can talk to, so we can have some young entrepreneurs on here. They can reach out to some of the, maybe they can inspire some of these young kids. I mean, I know everybody don't have a parent that's supporting them, but you do have a support group with us. If you're out there and you're a young person and you want to start your own business, you can always reach out to somebody. The internet is wide. Most of the people I do business with, they don't live nowhere near me. Some of them and most of them are not in my family. So understand that you're not going to always get support at home, but you got support somewhere. All right, fellas. Like, oh, God. Him in that ring, man.
Are those quarters? What were those?
I know. What did you just show? Everybody that's on Courtney's feed, I'm sorry I didn't get to see. I don't see your chats come across our feed. So if next time you see the watch party, you can jump right on over to our Facebook page, and that way you can be a little bit more interactive. Because like I said, I didn't even know he had that many. I just went on there and just saw all these people that was on Courtney's feed. So try to jump onto the page next time, and that way we can get you more involved in the show. Thank you, though, for tuning. Even if you were just tuning in on Courtney's feed, you can go and catch the show again on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/DBGINC. YouTube we're still building up to get our URL, so you have to search us out, Distinguished Black Gentleman Inc. I thank everybody for joining us today. Y'all have a wonderful day and have a wonderful week. Be safe out there, my people, and let's continue to build.